What's up, dudes? Okay, so today we're going to take a look at a sword from Cold Steel, the Army Officer's Saber. If you know anything about the military, you know that officer dress attire tends to be accompanied with a sword of some sort. And the Army is no exception. And so Cold Steel was nice enough to make this little guy. A lot of the ceremonial swords that you see off the Army officers using, and really any of the other branches, they tend to be garbage. They're really just, you know, for show. They don't have any usability to them at all. They're cheap pieces of shit. But they're really expensive because they're formal. But, you know, that's just typical for the military to get ripped off for, you know, some piece of shit. But Cold Steel was nice enough to make one that's fully functional. And from what I've been reading, it does actually meet requirements for ceremonial dress, or ceremonies, whatever they do with them. I'm not Army. I don't know what kind of ceremonies they do with them. I'm Air Force. I guess we do have a little background with the Army. We did kind of come from the same place. You know, they took the best people out of the Army and put them in the Air Force. But, you know, semantics, whatever. Okay, so the sword itself, it is carbon steel. It comes in a stainless steel scabbard with the rings attached so that you can put them on a belt. It's a really beautiful sword, lightweight. It's got the nice little guard. And there she is in all her glory. Now, one thing about this sword is that it has you can kind of see it in the camera, not very well, but okay, so half the blade is decorated. It has it looks like the Army crest, and on one side it has US. And then like some intaglio and other little designs. The other half of the blade, you can tell a difference in it. It's got a different look to it. It's more of a satin look rather than being polished. And that's the end that's actually sharpened. And it does come to a fine point, and it will cut you. That's my ring finger. One of the things that people had complained about this sword was that down at the base where the blade meets the guard, some of them had that they were made in India on the blade, which, okay, as for our military, our uniforms are made in China. So the fact that this says made in India, who gives a fuck, really? But, you know, I guess Cold Steel heard some of the complaints, because this one actually does not have it on the blade. I don't know if it's, you know, a recent change or whatever, but those gripes and bitches that I saw on Amazon, at least, have been nullified because made in India is no longer on the blade. It does, however, still have Cold Steel on one side, which, who cares, you know, whatever. And then on the other side, it looks like it's got a six-pointed star. But it's a really, really nice looking sword. The only thing that really bugs me on this is that there's such a stark difference between the unsharpened section of the blade and the sharpened end. And not just because one of them's got a sharp blade, the other one doesn't. No, it's just that whenever it hits the light, it's very, very different. One side is lustrous and polished, and the other is satin and not so polished. And it really makes a big stark contrast, and it makes the blade look a little weird. But the handle's solid. You know, you could really, I guess this one's supposed to be a right-handed sword because the guard is supposed to actually cover the hand. But you know, it's not oblong feeling, so you could actually wield it either way. Shouldn't really be a problem. Some cutlasses or whatnot, the guard is so obtrusive to where if you try to hold it left-handed, it'll feel really awkward. But this one, the way that it's set, it's not so bad.
So I got that going for me, which is nice.
Okay, so a little bit of a close-up on here. And what I did, you really don't want to do with carbon steel. Do not touch the blade with your hands. Carbon steel is more likely to, well, it's much more likely to rust than stainless steel. So the less you actually put your hands on it, the better. And if you do put your hands on it, make sure you clean it. Oil it, grease it, whatever you need to do. And let's see, there you can see the eagle, and then on the flip side there is the USA. Alright, and right about here, you can see it a little bit, I guess. The difference between the polished blade and the satin, the unsharpened side and the sharpened side. And once again, what I'm doing, touching the blade with my hands, don't do that.
Come on, bark like a dog for me.
I'm kind of in a rush. This sword that I got is actually a Father's Day gift for my dad. He was a warrant officer in the Army and served in Vietnam and was a helicopter pilot for many, many years. And while I don't believe that the warrant officers actually used the ceremonial swords, he is heavily involved with the VFW, and you know, I like to call it his frat buddies, but you know, they try to hold on to their traditions and stuff over there, especially whenever they're having a changing of the ranks, you know, within their various chapters. So you know, I thought that he might like this, not only for himself, but you know, something that could be of use for the local VFW. And it's just it's another way to give back to the people that that fought for our freedoms and give us the ability to do what we love to do. In my case, buy cool swords and chop shit up. I do have a little bit of video of me going out and playing Fruit Ninja with this thing. I managed to get a few shots in before my old man got here. I'm really happy that I was able to get this for him. It's a really cool sword. It was less than $200, and it's fully functional. So, you know, if you're looking for that cool retirement gift for an old NCO officer, you know, warrant officer, whoever, or a family member, you know, you want to get them something kind of cool, well, you know, this will make a nice gift, and I'm certain that my old man is going to enjoy it. It's just a matter of needing to find a shadow box or a rack or something to set this in, which there's a lot of options out there. I just didn't have time to go ahead and get it. So the big thing was the sword. it'd kind of be fucked up to get the rack and not get the sword. So, you know, this is probably the better route.
What an incredible Cinderella story. This unknown comes out of nowhere to lead the pack.
Now what we got going on right here is a little exercise. We're gonna test this guy out. You know, gotta make sure it works, right? Safety first. I do believe the watermelon is vanquished. I'd say it works out pretty well. On plastic and fruit at least. By the way, if you are doing any sort of exercises with carbon steel, especially if you're messing with something that's got water or something in it, make sure to clean up your blade, or else the next time you see it, it will be a pile of rust. And then you won't be cutting shit. And if you do, you'll be needing a tetanus shot.
It looks like I'm a wreck. It's in the hole!
So, hope you like the presentation. You know, if you have any questions or comments, you know, throw it down below. You know, I don't get many comments on anything, so, you know, I'll probably reply. You know, like I said in other videos, if you have something that you'd like for me to review, I have a lot of Lord of the Rings stuff. You know, so if there's something that you want to see there, I also have the World of Warcraft weapons, Kurgan's sword, Martos swords, book versions of the Game of Thrones swords, lots of different things. So, you know, if you think of something you want to see, you want to hear about, throw it in the comments. If I have it, I'll do it. If I don't, well, I won't. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next go around. Take care. There you go.
Damn. Oh crap! Okay, we have.
How's that for slicing watermelon, huh?
Man, that's great.
Cut me a little piece.
I got a piece here for you.
Okay.
Here. Oh boy, Mandy, there's your piece. Andrew, which one do you want?
Big one. Give her the whole half. She can eat it.
Okay. Let's see here.
He's having so much fun.
Jackie, that is sharp.
Oh yeah.